Yo, good morning, gang. As always, I hope you guys are feeling good, feeling great, feeling wonderful, all that good stuff. I stepped outside this morning and it's definitely a lot colder than I like, so I've already made the decision to no longer step outside for the rest of the day. Hopefully, where you guys are at, feeling a little bit better, looking a little bit better out there. But yeah, so for anybody who's new to the channel, welcome. This is where we do our morning preps. My morning preps are very simple. I like to break down the forward slash ES here, the E-mini S&P 500, and basically we go over some of the levels on the bigger time frames, and then we kind of go into the smaller time frames and look at some of the intraday levels that we could possibly trade today. So that sounds like something you want to stick around for. Appreciate you. Good to go. We're all good. If not, no harm, no foul. The show's gonna continue. Anyway, right? So, with all that out of the way, let's get right into it and let's see what we're looking at for today. All right. So, let's see here. Usually, we start on the daily, but I kind of wanted to jump up to the weekly and show you guys a little something, right? Now, this is something I should have showed you guys yesterday. For anyone again who's new to the channel, I'm trying to kind of be consistent and get these videos out every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. So, obviously, today's none of those days. This is kind of a makeup video for yesterday's, right? I didn't do the morning prep video yesterday, so it's kind of like a little makeup for that, right? But, anyways, this is what I wanted to show you guys yesterday on the weekly. We were below this 200 EMA, right? So, I was going to point that out, but obviously, today, another thing to point out would be that we are no longer below that 200 EMA, right? So we were, and now we're not. Okay. So this is kind of a big deal. If you guys kind of just let's add some time here. Let's go to like 15 years on the weekly here, and you could see that in the last 15 years, the yellow line 200 EMA was a bit of support right here. I mean, I know that we were chopping through it, but ended up acting as support here. We come up, come down, support there, support here. This is COVID, right? So we went right through it and right through it back to the upside. And then, like what? This is back in June. We used that same line as support right there, right? So it was kind of a big deal yesterday when we were opening below it. Basically, what I was going to get at yesterday was, hey, if we close below this line again, this could spell massive bloodshed and all that good stuff, whatever, right? We had this level of support down here that we never even got to, right? As price was going down on Friday when we broke down yesterday, if we had a continuation, then this is the level right here around 35.40s, 35.45, 35.50s, like this little area right here. As you can see, support here, support turn resistance here, and then resistance turn support. And then, we were just kind of waiting to get back there to use that as support, but didn't even make it, right? So let's go down to the daily. And let me just show you what we look like there on the daily, right? The yellow box that you guys see around here, this yellow box right here, this is the 4-day range, which, I mean, I could honestly at this point we could call it a 6-day range, 1-week range, what have you. Either way, this is a no-go zone for me right now. And what I mean by that is I don't want to be taking too many trades within this area, right? I mean, 1, 2, 3, 4, broke down Friday, back in it yesterday, and then we didn't just break out of the box Friday and then kind of go back in yesterday, right? We just went almost to the top of it just yesterday, and then in the post-market, pre-market, now we're breaking out and over the top of it, right? This is an area that we're gonna have to wait. At least me personally, I'm gonna wait until we see, who's really in control here, what's really going on here, right? Because yesterday we were I was chopping it up with some of my people saying, is the rally here, is this going to start running up now? Well, you probably thought that the first time we broke down and failed and came to the top, and then as soon as the next day came and we were at the bottom, you're like, oh no, it was a false move. The bears are still here after Friday, right? And then yesterday you're like, never mind, bears are not here, we're bullish, the rally's here. Here's my takeaway from this, right? We know that this is pretty much a look below and fail of this range, right? So All I'm getting at is, yes, the sellers were not able to push us down to this resistance area, or support area. So, I mean, it just, to me, my takeaway from this is the sellers are weak. They're exhausted, right? They were not able to get this Friday push to continue yesterday, right? And not only were they not able to get the push to continue down, they weren't even able to contain these guys from pushing price all the way up and over where we opened on Friday, right? And we ended up closing just about where we ended up opening on Friday before, the price started. And I'm sorry, not even opening. This is just like the Friday high, right? So we ended up crossing Friday's high, and basically closing up here, right? So all this bearish, all this just pretty much got negated with this guy yesterday, right? It's all we getting at here on the daily. One thing I want you guys to see, if I just zoom out a little bit right here. Here we have this gray box, and this is just an area of resistance we're watching. You can kind of see right here, right? This is support. We come up, come down, use it as support, come up, come down, use it as support again. And then we kind of crushed through it here, and now we're back to the top. Now we've used it as resistance, on this day, could even say this day, and then now pretty much today we're going to be opening right at that level, right? So something I want you guys to keep an eye on there would be this level, right around 37.50s or so. And then if we do break up and over that level, let me see where we would find some upside. Maybe right around here, right? We'll just kind of do something like that. And you can see right here, right? Resistance comes down, comes up, goes over resistance. This candle uses it as support. Then we break through it, come back up. Kind of we trade through the area a little bit, but you can see right here, it's used as support right here. And even this candle kind of came down, touched it, used it as support. So to the upside, I would definitely just be watching anything around 38.40s, 38.20s, 40s, right around here. If you're long, right? If you long this up and over, definitely watch. We could definitely probably, I'm sorry, I don't want to keep saying definitely, but we can probably get to this area right here, 38, 30s, 40s, right? If we break up, okay? Now let's go down to the 4 hour and see what we got there, right? Bear with me while I move this stuff around. Okay. And here's what we're looking like on our 4 hour, right? Let me see here. And then my takeaway from the 4 hour time frame is really simple, right? We clearly have a downtrend, right? High, lower high, lower high, lower high, lower high. And then now we're kind of setting some equal highs right here, right around this level, right? So if we were to reject off this level and start coming back down, then this would just be an equal high to this. This would continue the downtrend, and we would just push down. At that point, we would just be looking for a lower low, lower than this 35.70s, and then potentially come hit this support area down here, right? But just our takeaway from the 4 hour is just that, right? It is bearish. If it were to, if we were to switch bullish, I'd want to see a break over this where we're currently at right now, right? Like a push up, maybe come back down and use this area as a higher low to this, right? 37 or 35.70, we come up, come down, we create a higher low, higher than this, stop right here, and then we keep running back up. Then maybe the 4 hour would definitely be reading a little more of a bullish kind of sentiment. But for now, we're not out of the woods. You know what I'm saying? I know that the run up yesterday and even the run up in pre-market, post-market, all that stuff, it's going to have some people sitting here like, oh yeah, the rally's here, the bulls are here, sellers are gone. But just think about how many times we've already thought that, right? And I'll just speak personally, right, for myself. But this broke down, to the downside several times, right? Like, I mean, my range, I'm not even gonna lie to you guys, and I don't want to change it right now, but I will. It's no big deal, right? But the range used to be like up here, right? So we had broke down, we had some wicks, post market broke down, we come back into it, broke down again, all pre-market, post-market, broke down this pre-market, came back up. All I'm getting at is the sellers were definitely trying more than the buyers, right? Every break down was a little more significant than a break up. Like right here, we broke up just a little bit, and then we're back down all the way down to the other side. Every time we break down, it's just a little more significant than when we break up, right? So that's all I'm getting at there. The bears, although not strong enough to push price all the way down to this area, at least to me, stronger than the bulls, right? They're the ones pushing down more than the bulls are pushing up. The move from yesterday, we're just gonna have to see today if that move even holds, right? Of course, that there's no denying that move was beefy. There's no denying that the bulls were here yesterday, right, and the bears were not. But we have to see today if that's gonna hold. We're gonna have to see if this area where we're at right now holds. Are we gonna reject from this area and start pushing back down? I honestly would not be surprised if today is just the opposite of yesterday. Once again, from the bottom of the range to the top. Today, from the top of the range to the bottom, and we just kind of continue that. That's why I said in this area, this yellow box, this is all chop. I'm not really looking to get caught around here anywhere, unless you're trying to like short the top of the box and then long the bottom, and kind of keep playing that. That's all fine and dandy. Make sure your stop is tight, right? If you short up here, as soon as price maybe crosses 36 or 37.60s, which I mean is still, that's like a 15-point stop or whatever. But like if you play it smart, you find some kind of setup up here to short, and then we start going back down towards the bottom. That's fine. But like I just wouldn't be let me see, like I wouldn't be recommending any like longs right here after yesterday's move, just off of that anyways, right? Gotta see the price action today, gotta see how we open, gotta see how we react to this area of resistance. Are we gonna go back into the box? All that good stuff, right? So that'll do it for the 4 hour. Let's drop down to a 2-day 15-minute, 5-day 15-minute. I will day 2-day 15-minute. Where that at? And we're gonna switch this. We're gonna put on our levels that we watch. I'm gonna change this real quick. And there we go. All right, so here we are. We are on the. Actually, I'm gonna do a 30-minute just because I feel like it looks a little cleaner. Less candles, we could see what we want to see more. All right, so here we are. This is RES. We are on the 30-minute time frame, and we're gonna get into our 3 questions that we ask ourselves, right? So, question number 1. Where is price at right now, currently trading in relation to yesterday's range, right? So here's yesterday's high. Here's yesterday's low. And we can see that price is currently trading above yesterday's range, right? So this would be a gap up. We're dealing with a gap up this morning, okay? And we're going to talk about some of the possibilities after we ask our questions, right? So this question number 1 would be a solid arrow to the upside. We're gapping up, right? Question number 2 would be, where's price currently trading at right now in relation to the overnight levels, right? So here's our overnight high, and drag that down to the overnight low, and we can see that price is currently trading on the higher end, or I'm sorry, in the higher end of that portion, right? So this also gets a little arrow up, right? Because this is more bullish than bearish. If price was trading near the overnight low, then obviously that would put us in yesterday's range. This would be more bearish than bullish, right? But now we're outside of the range to the upside, so this is a gap up, and the gap up is low-key holding, right? We have gapped up and we're sitting up here near the overnight high. We're not like making our way back down or anything like that, okay? And then question number 3 is where how was inventory, right, overnight? So what we want to do for that is we want to grab where we closed yesterday, so that's right around here. I'm going to make that line blue just to kind of have it stand out. Right, you take your closing, and then what you want to do is establish how much time was spent above the closing price, and then how much time was spent below, right? So we can clearly see that very little time was spent below, and then that was it, the rest of the time above. So this right here, we want to answer this like in like a percentage kind of way, right? So easily said, this is about 95% to the top, 5% to the bottom, right? So definitely just get that down. This is 95% net long, all right? So the inventory overnight, post-market, pre-market, and all that stuff was just 95% net long. People going long, going long, going long, going long, right? So we know that inventory is a little bit skewed to the long side, right? We would would expect, I don't want to use expect or anything like that, but we could see an inventory correction where some of these longs get sold off, right? When the market opens, we start to go down. We correct some of this overly long inventory right here and get that correction. Then we start to go back up, or what have you, right? But that's what question 3 gives us, right? So for anybody who's new to the channel, what are these 3 questions, and what do they mean, right? So question number 1, when we find out what price is, where price is at in relation to the yesterday's range, right? Prior day's range, and that's not the prior day's range. There's the high, here's the low. That looks better. All right, so question number 1 suggests that we're going to have, I'm sorry. So why do we ask these 3 questions, and what do they mean, right? So question number 1 is where price is at right now in relation to yesterday's range. We can see that price is well above yesterday's range. So what does that mean? Think about it like this. Anyone who went long here, when we closed yesterday, they're going to wake up happy, right? They're going to wake up and they're going to sell their position. They're going to add to their position. They're going to trim their position, what have you, but they're up, right? And they're feeling good, right? Now, in the opposite of that is anyone who went short right here. When they wake up and they see this, they're going to wake up sad. They're going to wake up hurt. They're going to wake up down, right? So they also got to take action. Sell for a loss, add to a losing position if they think this is still going to keep going up, whatever. Really what we want to focus on is like the people who get scared, start to sell this. They start to hit the sell button really fast. Get me out of here. Get me out. I was dead wrong. I don't want to be in this anymore. And then you have also like the guys who are like, yes, sell this. Let me take my profit. I'm good. All that selling is, and I don't want to say will cause, but what we want to look for is that selling to create some kind of reaction when the market opens, right? So as soon as the market opens, all that selling and or buying, we start to get price move up and down. And what we're looking for is to be able to trade that action, right? So the 3 questions that we ask ourselves at the end of the day, what they're answering is, do we have a possibility to catch a play right at the opening bell, right? Or should we be patient? So far, question number 1 suggests, yes, we do have a possibility for some plays at open, right? Because we already established there's going to be Group A, all the people who went long when the market closed yesterday. They're happy and they're going to take action. And then we have Group B, all the people who went short when we closed yesterday. They're sad, mad, whatever. They're going to take action. That being said, those guys taking action when the bell, when the market opens, that's what's going to give us the price action that we can go ahead and get into some trades in, right? So question number 2 is, where's price at currently trading in relation to the overnight levels, right? So here are our overnight levels and kind of the same gists, but this question number 2 is going to give you a little bit of a entry exit kind of idea there, right? Or like how do I put this? Question number 2 is like, and we're just gonna show you guys what we're looking for, right? Question number 2 tells us that price is currently trading closer to the overnight high, right? So what this means is that our inventory correction, we have a decent like entry setup right here. And what I mean by that is if we were to go ahead and try to fade this gap, right, which is gap rules, this is one of the plays that we're going to look for this morning, right? We open somewhere around here, maybe fail the overnight low, get some kind of reversals up here and start to see that the all this over and like we established in question number 3, all of this overly skewed to the long side inventory, right? All these longs right here. If we start to correct that and start to close this gap to the downside, targeting yesterday's high of day, that would be that play. This is the gap fill play. And question number 2, because we're up here near the overnight high, we know that this is a better setup, right? And let me just show you guys why it wouldn't be a good setup if we were not up here. Let me just delete that. Let's say price was down here currently, right? Most of the inventory would have already been corrected. If we were trading down here already, most of the inventory, all this up right here, has already been corrected, and we're towards the bottom of the range. And that means that if we were to try to fade this gap or play anything that's to the downside, our stop loss being overnight high is just way too far, right? That's what we want to think of question number 2. Question number 2 tells us if we're right at the overnight high, then this is perfect. We can try to short somewhere up here if price action and volume and all that stuff tells you that that's the right idea. You know that you have a really good stop loss up here in this area, right? Because overnight high would be your stop, anything above that. But if this were down here, not so good, right? If you try to short down here, you know, most of the inventory is already corrected and this and that. So really just question number 2, you want to see it, you don't want to see like it in range, right? You don't want to see it in the middle of the range. We didn't want to see price trading right in the center of this box, right? If we were trading right in the middle, it doesn't look as pretty, right? I hope that was enough to help you kind of understand question number 2. I myself am just not very new, but pretty new to these 3 questions. I've been watching my guy Trade Brigade on YouTube, and if you haven't, go check the dude out. I'm actually gonna put his link in my description. Yeah, his link in the description. The dude's morning preps are ridiculous, really good stuff. So I'll go ahead and go ahead and give him that, because these are really the 3 questions I got from him, and he does a much better job. So if you like these and you think you can get a little more information from him, I'll have his link in the description. All right, I'm pretty sure you could, just saying that. But all right, and question number 3 is inventory, right? So again, like I said, with the inventory correction and stuff, we know that the inventory was net long, right? 95%. So we know that 95% of that inventory, 95% of the net long can be corrected when we open today, right? So that's just a more more like an indicator that tells you this can get I don't want to say indicator, an indication, right? The fact that this is 95% net long is an indication that we have a possibility to correct that back to the downside. All right, so if this was 50-50 as well, if this was, let's say we closed right here and 50% of the activity took place below, 50% took place above, then there is no correction, right? There is no inventory correction needed, and there's really nothing to do based off of that, right? There's no, oh, this inventory needs to be corrected, we can play that. That would be off the table, right? So again, hope I was able to explain those 3 questions pretty well. Sorry if I wasn't. Check the link in the description for Trade Brigade. That guy gets you right, all right? So based on those 3 questions, what am I looking for to do this morning, right? What am I looking to do this morning? Well, question number 1 means that we have some action at the bell. What I want to be looking for is what we talked about. I want to see some failure up here in this area. We are in this little box of resistance. I showed you guys this box on the daily time frame. And if we stay in this box and we start to see some reversals kind of form right up here near the overnight high in this box, what have you, and we start to break down, this would be a decent short, right? I mean, you could even wait till we're out of the box and short to yesterday's high of day. That's almost 30 points right there, right? If you can catch the short somewhere up here near the overnight high, you see like a look and fail over the overnight high, and then we start to come back down. I mean, we have a potential to rip 50 points right there, right? So just pay attention to that. And also one more thing, when the gaps are, I don't want to say too big, but this gap is a little, almost 40 points, right? Remember that when you play this gap fill, right? If you play this and you play the short and you want this gap to fill, don't be greedy, right? You have a 40-point gap. Please do not let your play be up 10, 15 points and you haven't done anything yet. You haven't moved your stop loss up. You haven't started trailing. You haven't, what I'm saying? You're dead set on that 38-point gap to close before you sell your position or anything like that. Remember, these gaps can partially fill. We can get like a partial gap fill, right, where like we open up, kind of come down, find maybe somewhere around here, and then just fly back up, right? So I don't want you guys to expect this entire gap to fill. Just because the gap is there and it starts to fill, if it does, it doesn't mean it's going to completely fill, right? Now, as far as any other plays that I'm going to be watching for today, there's not many. I am really just keeping my eye on this gap fill play, on this gap up play, right? Whenever there's a gap up or a gap down, you have a couple plays that you can set up. You either got the gap fill reversal, a continuation, right? You know what I'm saying? Let's say we don't want to play the gap. Let's say this breaks up and just kind of uses overnight high as support, bounces, and it keeps going. I, for one, am not looking to long after yesterday's run up and the overnight run up that we saw, that we could see right here, right? So, yeah, I really am just watching for this gap fill to the downside. If we can see some kind of failure up here on the upper end, and we can get like a reversal coming back down, right? But make sure you're watching price action, watching volume, and all that stuff, because this run up from yesterday, that continued in the post-market, pre-market, can still mean that the bulls are here. This can mean that the rally's here. When I said earlier that I don't think it means, or that it seems a little choppy still or risky, it doesn't mean it doesn't mean that, right? This can definitely mean the rally's here. This could definitely mean we're about to run up for the next 2 3 days. But I myself am just not um, as excited about going long after all this run up, right? Now I know you might be saying, well, that run up is after all this bloodshed, right? After all this run down. But remember, we are still in that range. That's the only reason I'm not really too excited about going long, is we're still in this now like 5 days, 6 days, 7 day range. I mean, it looks like we're up and out of it, right? But it looked like we were out of it Friday. It looked like we were out of it this day. It looked like we were out of it. You know what I'm saying? Like it's not until it holds. I ain't even too worried about it. Like I told you guys on the 4 hour time frame, we would want to see, before I flip the tone bullish, at least for me, up and over this gray box, use it as support, close somewhere up here, and then continue up. Then we would have a higher low, and then maybe we could consider possibly going long on some plays here and there. But for now, I'm just more on the bear side, more neutral. Play what we see. You know what I'm saying? I just all this run up into that box and up and out of that box to the upside just gives me these weird vibes. You know what I'm saying? Like, we just kind of keep doing that. We keep, and if I can get more time here, we keep breaking breaking this box in one direction just to go all the way to the opposite direction, right? So that's what I'm gonna sit back and see. So that's my plan for today. I want to see what today does, see if we even get to close up here or we go back into that box. All right, and then there's that gap fill play or anything like that. But yeah, that'll do it for this morning's morning prep video. I hope that I was able to help anybody. I hope I was able to help somebody. I hope that this helped you with finding levels, some kind of trading psychology. Maybe it helped you with figuring out how to set up your trading plan in the morning or something like that. What have you? If it helped you a little bit, I'm happy. If not, my bad. I'll try harder next video. All right, but that's gonna go ahead and do it, man. If you guys have any questions or anything like that, hit me up in the Discord or in the comments or anything like that, and I'll answer. Obviously, I will get to all questions and anything like that. So, with all that being said, you guys enjoy your day, and I hope a green trading day. All right, you have a good one. Peace.